Hello, dear friends, good morning. How do you do today? I'm very happy to be here with you. Hello, good evening, Yanis. Good morning, Eniola. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Cindy. Do you get a sound coming? Do you get a signal coming? Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you today, and I would like us to start with a little story or parable. There's a beautiful story about a person, someone who lives in London, and he's in his home watering the flowers when suddenly comes a policeman and says that he is accused of a robbery in New York. The man who's watering the flowers says, "I've never been to New York. Maybe you have a mistaken." With the tone of voice that he speaks, the policeman keeps inquiring and understand that this man has nothing to do with a robbery in New York. Now, if this man would not have said, yes, that he's in his home, never was in New York, or would accept the accusation, he probably sit somewhere, yes, in New York, yes, behind bars. Yes, do you get a signal coming? Do you get a sound coming, Eniola? Is it better now? So the story goes that if this man in London would agree, yes, to this accusation without saying that he never was in New York, has nothing to do there, if he would just accept, he would probably sit somewhere behind bars. And this is the story of our lives. We just accept what we were told. What does it mean? We were told that we were born. A body was coming, a name was attached to this body, a couple of people attached to this baby, and we were immediately told that the birth is ours, meaning the body belongs to us. The body has a name, and the body has parents and a culture and so on. During the first years of our lives, more and more details are being connected or attached to this name or to this body or to this, so to speak, life that we're born. And we are trained to believe that this is who we are. Do we understand the message? In a way, yes, this is the walls. This is the reference that we shall carry with us along the lifespans. We would take it as truth. It is written everywhere, in the albums, in the ID, in the birth certificate, and this is what make it, so to speak, truth and the only truth, because more people also are associated to this event, and being with them together or sharing moments or holidays with them just make it stronger to believe that this is the only truth. But in a way, this is not how life works. What, and this is a question to everyone, what were you, each and every one who attend this conversation, before you were born? What were you? Or where were you? If I will ask the name, yes, you will say my name here. Yes, but with this, yes, being. We were being, just being. Simple being. The sorrow, the heaviness, the suffering comes from us in a way carrying this story about ourselves, which is not who we are. Yes, we are carrying this load. It's a lot of load to maintain. See, I do not know. I have wondered if a soul can be created, and if so, does it began at life? Yes. Yes, there is a soul. There is a soul. Yes. There is a soul. But there is no awareness of the soul unless it comes. Yes. The awareness or the recognition or cognition comes when there's two. Yes, when there's two. This is interesting that you say a soul, and Yola was saying being. This is quite interesting. A soul is created. A soul is created. It is a good question if a soul is created. I would say it more creating. Soul is creating, and depends of how we look at it. According to the Hebrew sources, there is a part of the soul which is there, and another one which comes into manifestation. This one is called Olam HaBri'ah. Yes, Bri'ah, because in Bri'ah we have taking out from the nomenon into the phenomenon. Yes, a living soul. Yes, Genesis calls Adam a living soul. Yes, this is true. This is true. Genesis calls Adam living soul. Yes, Nefesh Chaya. Yes. So, before there was a birth and we were told that we were born, there is a documentation. If we have albums or any kind of paper, even driving license, there is a date of birth there. We were told that we were born because there is appearance of a body in space and time. This body received a name, a couple of parents. Yes, and immediately around those details comes a story, comes a narration. We go to the kindergarten, we meet other children, and more details and more information attached to this, so to speak, grain of dust, and the plot get thickened. The more we grow, the more there is a duration in time, more and more details are added, and we are tend or trained or tamed to believe that this is who we are. Some people go through pleasant moments, some people go through unpleasant moments, and we are tend to believe that what is in a way we are going through, this is our story. Yes, this is something that is defining us. Yes, and this is who we are. In a way, we are nailed down to what is moving at a moment. Yes, if people, let's say, go to army service and they cross like very hard moments in the service, and they come out from service and they have this, there's a special condition that are going through in the army, post-trauma. They are being pinned as post-traumatic and so on. And this is in a way they come to regular society and they have in a way to, how do you say, not to expose, but to introduce themselves to as post-traumatic. It's not pleasant, but this is really a narration, because this is not who those people are. Yes, we're going through, or humans are going through different moments in life, and this is not what in a way defines us or locks us down. Yes, this is in a way what is happening or being moved through us. Yes, but this is not, we don't own those experiences. Something happens or moves through us, we're not owning them. people own depression. At some point, it's that what is people believe that this is what characterized them. That they're having depression, so they put a lot of energy to maintain this depression because it's like an asset. Yes, Cindy, did you want to say something? You're most welcome. All of you are mostly welcome to open your mic and speak. And this conversation is to all of us. Yes, I speak to myself as well. Myself, if there's something like this, but of course not. To this I, to this being, yes, that there is no personal experience. There isn't. And those stories that we're carrying with us like a shipwreck, this is just a tale of something, and we can drop it. This is not our story. This is not what defines us. Yes, sometimes people have a bad mood from seemingly carrying a heavy load to carry this story in the mind, in the brain, not in the mind, but to carry this story on and on. It's a lot of load. Sometimes people become sad just to hold this story. Like, if I keep it long enough in my brain, it will sustain as reality and never be washed. No, this is not a real thing. It is not a real thing at all. Yes, Cindy, people get wounded by their life experience and they need to heal if they can. In this, yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is a great what you say about shame is a heavy load. This is what happened a few minutes ago. This is interesting. People have to heal from the story, yes, what they tell themselves. Very good. It is true, Megan. Yes, yes, it's true. Especially in the West, there is a lot of drinking problem and drug problem because of the selfing. Yes, but I would like to also relate to the shame and the heavy load. Before this conversation began, 2 hours before, we took a walk next to the shore, and there was family walking, and the children were on roller skates, like 7, 5, 8, something like that. And they were probably moving towards the car, and one of the children told the other, but I'm not guilty. But I'm not guilty. In Hebrew, in English we have 2 different words, shame and guilty, but in Hebrew it's one, depends of the negation. And I asked Andre, from where a child, 7-year-old, rolling on roller skates, have this idea, yes, of being guilty in something. A family, 2 parents, 3 children on rollerblades, where a child from at the age of 7 comes with this idea of being guilty. And Andre said, maybe the parents, we don't know if the parents speak to them in this realm or in this language, whom to blame. Yes, because we also were children somewhere, and we remember, yes, who's to blame and who's carrying the guilt. And so, because what, a child at the age of 7 already has a notion of being guilty. Of what? It is unbelievable, and this is already there. And this is the narration starts, and who knows what they tell themselves. And all of us are telling that we are guilt in such a turn or in such a decision. Yes? Yes, Cindy? There is a saying in English, many children hear, shame on you, when the parent, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. It is true, Megan and Cindy. both. It comes, yes, from home and from the circles of education and true tradition focus on guilt and shame all the time. So much so that there is a research about it, yes, that in certain religious communities the juveniles cannot go for life because they feel that they did something wrong while there's just a biology function of the body, and they're always being accused of causing those biological functions, which is biological function, yes. So they already come, you see, the children are already coming with the story and that they're guilty in something. It's because of you, they're, because of you, the milk spilled on the floor and now I have to clean the floor. Yes, they're all already carrying this story. This is a beautiful story in a nutshell. But people grow and we hear and we are walking with those heavy heads around us, yes, and the tension goes to the face expression and to the shoulders, and then it penetrates, and because it's not true. We walk through life. What we cannot accept, that we are what is happening in the world, is just an entire a comedy show or a circus, yes. This is a great show because it's a manifestation and there's no one to blame and no one is guilty, yes. This is what is happening and what is happening through us, yes. Yes, Cindy, I was just noticing how tense my body is right now, just speaking on this subject. I have stories. Yes, all of us have stories that needed to be dropped. This is not who we are. Yes, this is not who we are. It's amazing how the brain, this mechanical brain, is also always there, like a guard, like a dog, and always barks at us. Yes, yes. This is your story. This is what happened to you. Yes. When, let's say, people left the army, or each one with his story. Yes, and this is, yes, but this is not really just things that are happening and there's no personal doership. We were told that we are personas, yes? We were told that we are persona, but we are not persona. Yes, because there's a name. Yes, there's a body, and immediately there's attachment, and things are happening because this is what life is about. So immediately there's a persona. There's not just happening naively. And we always think that this persona, this mask, is ours. That, first of all, we need to maintain, we need to protect, yes, we need to carry. So, but if there isn't any persona, we don't need to maintain, yes, we don't need to uphold it, to make up, to carry, yes, it's not a load anymore. It is not a cause of a suffering, because why the suffering comes? Because it is a lie. Truth, in a way, has no body. Yes, truth has no body. It is transparent. It's in the air. But to carry this lie, yes, which is not happening, this persona, or I don't know, the story of my life or the narrative, it's a very heavy load to carry. If we were now traveling to China, China built a great wall. We can see the wall of China from the moon. It is so, it is so visualized, yes? Even from the moon we can see the walls of China. So if we were standing now next to the walls of China, traveling. And I would say, please carry few stones on your back and walk with them. It was a heavy load. I'm not sure that we could even, one person could, or one human could carry one stone. But to carry those stories or experiences, it's not less a heavy load. To carry those stories and to believe that they're right and to maintain them. And if one moment we're not thinking about a story, something wrong will happen to us. What something wrong can happen to us? Suddenly, I can breathe freely. Suddenly, there is no what? Asthma attack. Believe it or not. When there is no narration, to some people, when this finally this load drops, there is no asthma attack. How can you explain that? Doctors, tests, how do you say, different inhalators, personal inhalator, inhalation at home, tubes, oxygen tubes, everything. Yes? I did not hear this name, but I can testify. This is what happened. This asthma dropped like never was, and it was not pleasant to have those attacks, like lack of air suddenly. But it is coming from stressing by the story that is running there. That we are telling us that we are the children of such and such people, that we were told that their births are connected to us, and so yes, and suddenly there's no asthma. Years of treatment and doctors and inhalators in the bag and at home, and yes, and suddenly it's gone. It's gone. What a relief. It was like never was. Why? Because it's not who we are. It the biological parents passed out and the asthma was gone. Never was. There are many stories that we, again, grown to believe that those are ours. This is the narration. This is the family. This is how. Yes, this is it. Yes, they don't have life of their own. Yes. And this is not. Questions or thoughts or things that you would like to share? So who we are. And this is what, in a way, this is the first word in the commandments. This is Anochi. Anochi is here, just I, just with not becoming. This is the basic of life. Yes, just being. it happens also when we are in a certain company. Let's say many people are staying or hanging out with the same people that they used to go to high school or to university or a certain stage in their life or family. Yes, Megan. When you're with family and friends and people who only see you as your story, it is very hard not to get. Yes, it is interesting what you're saying, because therefore just to walk from the surrounding. Yes, this is what I was trying to speak about while you were writing. It's the same thought that I had, because being or staying with family and friends, they're just in a way enforcing the story about you, more details, and they tell you who you are and you like this or that, or at this winter you slide from this mountain and this is who you are, because this is what people are doing. They will try to enforce the story on us until it becomes a fossil, like a picture in the museum, and we tend to believe and uphold this image, and in a way we are jailed in this image that those closest friends and family create around us, and we can never escape. Yes, at some point you cannot hold this and you just retreat. So people celebrating very large and huge birthday parties and what for, to, and you just don't find yourself in all this noise, and you slowly retreat, but it will not be except in peace, because people do not want to, how do you say, to quit on telling us who we are. So they feel offended if you're not coming for the holidays or certain meals. Yes, because they feel kings, because they have the story about us, and if we are not coming, so the story does not exist, and also they are not kings. It's a problem. But it is beautiful just to walk out from those circles, just to walk out. Yes, it is just to drop the story, because it's not true. It's not about them and not about us, just to drop it, because we cannot capture anything. We cannot capture. Yes, Yanis, the whole world, yes, operates on narrative. Yes. Yes. It is true, but there isn't there is no personal doer. It is hard, because everything sits, as you say, on a story. Every state has a policy, have like independent story, yes, or the first settlers came, or yes, and the more there is a repetition of the narrative, we tend to believe. Yes, on some level, the stories are needed, because they are the methods through which we interact with the world. So it is, yes, yes, but not true. It's like a shell. Yes, it's like a shell, yes, that keeps the fruit. Let's say orange. Orange has the shell, the orange shell, and there's a fruit which is tasty. But without the shell, it's a very beautiful example, Megan. Without the shell, the orange will not be ready to eat. It will be vulnerable to the weather conditions, yes? But the shell protects, while meanwhile the fruit is being ready. Yes, we were brought to believe that there is like independent days in Israel and there's a Holocaust day in those days. Yes, yes, fighting when some do not pledge. It is great, great example. Cindy, this is a very, not just in America, here we had a similar thing, yes, because it is expected, yes, in the day of memorial to stand in silent and not to move because people are remembering the, the soldier who protected with their life and so on. And there's also Holocaust, Holocaust Day, and this is for itself a great thing. But one day, one night, I was awakened and learning all night long Zohar, and suddenly I noticed that from darkness I noticed like a light from the window because there was a switch. Dawn came, and I saw through the window the dawn with the ocean, with the Mediterranean, and I said, "It is beautiful life." I remember this notion because all night I was learning. I was awake. Such a beautiful life. And what is this narrow narrative that somebody tells us? Yes, on this day there's a Holocaust day, and you should not smile, and you should not listen to music, or like you say, pledge to the flag. It's the same thing. You see, because each state or family has their own rubrica, their own box, which is sacred, or you should behave only in this way. And suddenly, when you're awake and you said, okay, this is the story that we were told, and they created like certain ceremonies and certain codes of behavior and how do you say, protocol, how to behave, not to play music, and so it is not allowed. I remember as a child I was visiting my friend in the Holocaust Day, and we were told it's not allowed just to listen to memorial 24/7. And I came to her place, and suddenly she opened the TV, and she could receive another a TV channel from Jordan. We don't have good relation, but the TV was still coming, and I was like, what? She's opening the TV on Holocaust Day, and there's like American series. What? It's allowed to see American series on the Holocaust Day. I started, what? I was so shocked because it was so rigid. Only see the, how do you say, the documentation. I'm just sharing a little thing about the Holocaust, but you can have equivalent, yes, like you say, the pledge to the flag and other things in other states and heritage and cultures, yes. Everything needs to be questioned because we were imposed. I mean, just you have to watch like films and testimony from the Holocaust, and also black and white, and how they, people probably have a notion what happened in the Holocaust, and you only have to read those books, and this is the text, and this is the poems that I wrote before they, sent into chambers or to the furnaces. And this is horrible to do this for children, just horrible. And suddenly, just visiting a friend, and there was alternative reality, because her father was not a Holocaust survivor. And okay, so he was also working in communication, and he arranged them all kinds of, speaking about childhood, so they could see another, let's say, station. There was suddenly alternative reality, and I started questioning all of this. So this is just an example, but everything is up for question, not just pledge to the flag. And I also understand, to whom or to what do we pledge? Yes, everything is worth questioning. There is no need, in a way, to go outside on the streets and to question it, but in the heart, everything is up to question. Everything. At the end of the day, nobody also cares. This is just a running narration, yes, on media, yes, or on literature, or on documentation of the country or the state. But at the end of the day, nobody cares, because people also are not, how do you say, honest enough to speak about those things. The persona that we were told that we have, like this shell, the nationality or the name or the culture or the language, the persona is like something which is entity. There is. In Hebrew we say yesh. Yesh is like an entity. Entity. While in fact we are nothing. Ein, this is nothing, but also infinite. So we were told that there's an entity, there's a body, there's a name, there's a story, there's a narration, nationality, pledge, and so on. There is something, there's a wall, yes? Pledge, American. I remember when I first, there was a family member, she's an American citizen, yes, married into, and everything, there was a discussion. The speech started, I am an American citizen, comma, and then came the rest of the story. First of all, I am an American citizen. What? And people, some of the people, in a way, buy this, buy this story. Yes, according to the paper, people are having citizenship where they are born. Yes, but this is just a shell. This is not who we are. So we were told that there is a story, there is a persona, there is a name, there is a body, there is an address, there's a school, and so and so. This is like yesh. Yesh, this is something. Also from yesh we have ish, man. Yes, with the additional aleph. This is a man. We see a man. Similarly, there's entity, but it is just something which is visualized. Yes, but the yesh, or the entity, is just an appearance of what? Of, how do you say, plain screen. Yes, the entity, so to speak, is to be seen on an empty screen. Because the manifestation is the entity or the phenomenon. And all of those things which we can see as objects are appearing on an empty screen, which is the infinite. Infinite continues. Story or movie can start with birth, passing, and then continuing. The infinite is there all the time. Never disappeared. Cindy? There is an idea throughout the scripture that we human need a savior, a help out of our condition. Would you say that this is a narrative? The narrative, yes. The savior is not the narrative. The narrative is the jailer. Yes, it's to drop the narratives. This is it. This is it. The condition is the narrative. Yes, but to drop the story about ourselves. Yes, we use here in this meeting, like we call each other by names or so, but just to, in a way, to, how do you say, in order, but not that we believe, yes, that this is who we are. For the sake of convenience, there are names here. But this is not what or who we are. There was a beautiful movie once. It's a documentary. Just to sacrifices. This is a very beautiful question. What is sacrifice? In English it's sacrifice, but in Hebrew it's to get closer. To get closer. Once we drop the narrative, we're getting closer, or we are closer. Just keep up the narrative. In a way, how do you say? Put up a distance between us and the origin. So what is sacrifice? In Hebrew, korban, from להתקרב, to get closer, to drop the narrative. To drop the narrative, it is considered to be sacrifice, because the narrative keeps us far. Once we drop the narrative, people do not willingly to drop the narrative, because they think this is who they are. It's quite sacrifice to drop the narrative. It's a painful mental pain to drop the narrative, because we are telling ourselves, for quite long, this is who we are, this is our story, and people are willing to do a lot and to suffer a lot just to maintain a lie and not to drop it. Yes, it is easier to drop a lie than to maintain it or uphold it, because it is falling anyway. Yes, like an old building under the law of gravity. This is what will happen. So it is better to just drop it, and then there is no weight to carry or suffering, because the more we uphold a lie, the more suffering is coming, because it's not true. So first we uphold a lie, and then suffering. So double work. Yes, Janis, the Bible has always been taught as a narrative. Yes. Because once Adam ate the fruit, yes, he believes, yes, that, yes, it's interesting. Yes. Yes. There's a saying in English, a self-made man. This is a narrative. How can such a thing be? A self-made man, how can it be? What a person makes his heart palpitate, how do we say? Pulsate? Can someone make his lungs breathe or filter the air? Yes. How can people even say this is just to inquire the language? How can such a sentence can come, a self-made man? If a person does not how do you say, cause himself to inhale, cause his heart to beat, how he can be a self-made man? He causes his arms to move, yes. He causes his eyes to see. He causes his mouth to speak. Of course not. He is not animating himself. So how can he be a self-made man? It means that a man, against all odds, got an education, a good job, probably didn't have help. No, this is not. Yes, but still, it's not. Yeah, I understand that you explained the language or how people speak, but still, it's not true. Because here we have, in a way, a personal doership, and this is not true. Because if we check, you say here, yes, against all odds, got an education, good job, and so again, even for education, that's to be educated. First, a person, someone has to breathe, yes, and the heart has to function. So it doesn't do all of this. So how can you see? If we go to the depths of things, we question the language is working, you know. Also, to say such a thing is a heavy title for someone to carry, that he is a self-made. And once when he goes to sleep, or when he is in deep sleep, it's funny. So those beautiful conversations, in a way, are being held, yes, just to say that there's a truth, and the truth is there is no personal doership, and there aren't any personas, yes, and the story or the narration that we grew into is questionable, but also not true, because it's not who we are, and our life here are not limited, because we were never been born, therefore we shall never cease to exist. Yes, it's very simple. We were told that we were born. Yeah? Funny, but this is it. Yes, Cindy, I think the most repeated command in the Bible is do not fear. It is the fearful feeling. Yes. 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 That's correct, Aniola. That's true. Also, Cindy. Yes. Do not fear. Yes. Because fear says what there's to. Because we are afraid of. Yes, something. So there are two. So there's no need to fear whatsoever. It's like, what is fear? It's basically to lose something. But if there's no entity, there's nothing to lose and nothing to fear. There's nothing to lose and nothing to fear from or of. Yes? It is quite simple. Do you have any questions, or you would like to speak? You open your mic and speak. Megan, Cindy, Aniola, Yanis, friends on YouTube, would you like to ask something? This is the time. In our days, there are many questions of identity, and those questions bring about many conflicts. In a way, yes, non-duality is dropping from the beginning the question of identity. Yes, and as we were put here in duality and have to be brought out. Yes, 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 Yanis, yes, yes. Yes, it's indeed why the method of killing an animal and burning it. How did that bring people closer? It's not the animal itself, but the animal part in us. Yes? It's not just, it's not about a third component. It's like it is, in a way, bring it to drop it. It's like with Isaac binding or binding of Isaac, that it does not exist. Yes. People take what is written in the Bible literally, as Hebrew readers and as in other languages, without understanding what it is about. It's not, when it's a lamp, it's not about a physical lamp, it's about duality, because duality in a way appears in circles, because again, circle has a center, and a lamp in Hebrew is se, and it is the value of 314 or Shaddai or the Pi. There's a lot to say about it, but it's not what we think is written in the Bible at all. Yes, Megan, having a community like this helps to keep you on track to remember what is important in life. It can be easy to get lost. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It is beautiful to meet here, and it is great to speak of those things because they are truths and they help all of us to speak the truth. It's just there's a new blow coming inside, because what happens is when there is no opportunity or space to speak the truth, the walls are coming again and close on us. Yes, the walls, the narrative, whatever, the daily rhythm, let's call it. So, and there's like repeating on what is everybody saying, any kind of a narrative. And those meetings are beautifully set just to say there is truth. Yeah, there's narrative which is going on, but please, there's also truth. So thank you for being with us today. Have a beautiful Shabbat, beautiful weekend, and see you here on Monday. Thank you so much, and shalom, shalom.